Welcome to the Morning Truck Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Werman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll eventually talk a little bit about the Winter Olympics, which we have yet to even mention so far, and it's underway already. We will also be talking most of today about the Super Bowl that just happened last weekend on Sunday. But we'll start today jumping into that discussion on the Super Bowl. Mike, the game went pretty much how we thought it would. Seattle ended up winning fairly handily, 29-13. Mike, did you find the game exciting, or did you just sort of like watch it just to watch it and didn't really care what happened, or what were you interested in it? Did it maintain your interest through the whole game?
Yeah, I guess it's a football game. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was lower scoring in some ways than I thought it would be, and it ended up being. I predicted it was over under 45 and a half. I predicted the under, and it came out at 42, so I got that right. And so, but it ended up towards the end creeping up closer to that over number, and it easily could have gone over had a couple of calls been switched or things like that. So. Um,
Yeah.
the score, I think, was a little bit deceptive. It seemed like Seattle dominated, but then there were a couple of cheap New England points at the end that they managed to
Yeah.
score. Maybe it was a little bit like the Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl of last year when the Eagles dominated and the Chiefs did get some points at the end. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, this was a game I think we both predicted the Eagles, I mean not the Eagles, the Seahawks to win and predicted the Seahawks on the spread. They were minus 4.5 point favorites. I actually teased the Seahawks up to 9.5 point favorites on alternate spread, and then I won that bet as well. One of the few bets aside from the uh, regular over under spread and money line that I actually won on the Super Bowl. I lost. We ended up losing most of our prop bets that we made, so that didn't go too well. But we were, I think, both right. We both thought the Seahawks were going to win the game. Um,
Win relatively comfortably, which they did.
and yeah, and win in a yeah, not in a and it was a relatively comfortable win. Seattle did have to settle for field goals on a lot of their drives, but
Yeah.
uh, field goals are better than 0 points. So it worked out fine for them. But yeah, I think we both thought the Patriots might be a little bit overmatched. They were a team that benefited from a fairly easy schedule in the regular season, and then maybe some luck in the postseason as well. So they hadn't really been tested in the way that Seattle, I think, was during its playoff run in its regular season. So I think the game, yeah. So I don't know. It turned out the way I thought it kind of would, which is a little surprising since we haven't done so well. At least I haven't done so well in the betting over as the season has gone on, and I haven't done very well in the playoff betting. But the Super Bowl, I did see Seattle as having the advantage, and they came through. Did you find yeah? So the game itself wasn't the most exciting. Did you find it? Did you like the defensive struggle, or were you hoping for more offense?
I was hoping for a little more offense, which I guess we kind of got in the fourth quarter, but it was just kind of unfortunate that you had to sit through the first three quarters to see basically anything happen, really, because it was, I think, 12 points combined in the first three quarters and then 30 in the fourth, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, you just want something to happen, I mean, since we didn't have a horse in this race, we just want something to happen, right? And it took a while for it to get really started. So it was just, conservative offenses, strong defenses. Yeah, I think we each picked about half of our props. I think we're on the defensive side. But we still ended up managing not to cash many of those picks. We had sacks by particular players that ended up not having sacks. I think the one defensive prop that I got was that I thought the Seattle's defense would score a touchdown, which they ended up doing. That was like basically the only prop that I managed to cash. But
Yeah, I just got two props. I just got the one where there would be the alternate spread, Seattle minus 9.5, and then I also got the first drive of the Seahawks would end in a field goal attempt, which it did. It was a made field goal, so I predicted that. So I did see that coming. But yeah, a couple of the other ones, I feel like we were on the right track. We had a lot of defensive props because I think we kind of thought it would be a big defensive day, but
Yeah.
uh, people who got the sacks didn't weren't the people we bet on. Um, Christian Gonzalez, I bet on to get an interception, and he was very close a number of times in intercepting the ball, but never
Yeah.
actually got it. So it seems like we were kind of on the right track, but it didn't quite work out. I thought Mac Hollins would have a bigger day for the Patriots. He did actually catch a touchdown at the end of the game. I thought maybe he'd be more at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, so I lost a bet there.
Well, it seemed like
So
Seattle went to their tight end early a lot, but yeah, New England didn't figure that out until later, I think. So it was just,
yeah,
and you
we,
had him, I think, with an early. You had a nice mix of picks though. Like we had some bets that you would pay out, find out what the result is early in the game, and then
mhm.
also some things that would happen like over the course of the game that you'd actually need the full game to get. So I think you kind of picked the game so that you would be entertained, I think, throughout the entirety of it. Is that were you trying to do that or did it just happen that way?
I think it just kind of happened that way, but I wanted to do
Yeah.
some that were early picks so I could kind of get into it. Uh,
Yeah.
I think we also both we both picked one of the quarters to not be scoreless, and we almost had that too. We just had field goals in the first three quarters. We just had it could have gone a different way pretty easily. So
Yeah.
we lost. I think our bets I think we were thinking the right things in our bets, but they just didn't come through. When it came to the over unders and the um, uh, passing yard totals, the rushing yard totals, receiving yard totals of the players. That was kind of a mixed bag too. We missed more than we got. Um, we did have, as you mentioned before we went on the air, one uh, sort of bad beat in terms of the over under. Sam Darnold had a nice rush for about 11 yards to get a first down earlier in the game, but then he fell down and lost 6 yards. They counted it as a rushing attempt rather than a sack. So he only finished with 5 yards rushing. The over under was it 6.5 or 5.5?
5.5. So
Five and a
he,
half. So
he
he was
fell at the exact place that cost all of the overbetters money. Yes.
Yeah, so but that was I think it is kind of fun to make those bets. I'm glad we didn't use real money on those bets because we both would have lost several $100s on the Super Bowl had we
Right.
made
Right.
all of these bets. Maybe if we had just made the over under spread money line bets, we would have been happier. We were 5-1 together on those. We both thought the Seahawks would win and win by more than 4.5 points.
Yeah.
I the under, you took the over, so that was the only difference in those. So,
Well, that
yeah,
that over under on the very next play after that Sam Darnold 6 yard loss for as a run was a Kenneth Walker like 50-ish yard run that went to the house, but was then called back for an offensive holding penalty, which
yeah,
wasn't the officials weren't really making a lot of calls, so that seeing like a call there was a little surprising, but it looked
it
like it
was a
was a hold.
hold.
But
It
it looked
was a
like it
it
was a
was a
hold,
pretty
but
it was a
and
pretty
it may have been a guy that had a chance at making
yeah,
contact with the runner too,
yeah,
but they weren't involved that much, and it did change the it took points off the board, which would have flipped the over. Uh, so it's just kind of interesting, at least anyway, where there's two plays in a row that determined a lot of happy or upset sports bettors
yeah.
on just like consecutive plays after not a whole lot was really happening during the game.
Hmm.
But yeah, so like the over under could have gone either way just on a whistle or a no whistle, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was it
That's
was,
even how close that we were
and
in
that's
this too then.
yeah. That's how close. I guess that's how well Vegas does it, determining, predicting the games that, how many points they think are going to be scored. It seems like it's close to that number more often than it isn't. So, and that may have been what saved I think a lot of sports bettors bet on Seattle and to win and on the spread. So I think Vegas
Yeah.
probably lost money on that, but maybe they made some money back with the under hitting rather than the over, because most
No.
people like to pick the over because it's more fun to pick an over than it is an under. But yeah, I'm sure they made a ton of money on those prop bets the way we lost a ton on those. So probably, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's where they probably make their money because it's
That was a big difference. Yeah.
hard to predict those. Um,
Okay, so
yeah,
we each bet, 2,000 fake dollars across our a multitude of picks here. It was 23 picks that we made. Yeah, you ended up losing about $400. And I lost about 775, Mike. But
yeah, it's tough. So you did better in the regular playoffs than I did, but the Super Bowl I did a little better, but I still lost money. So it wasn't. Yeah, it's one of those things where
right.
betting is not a good strategy toward financial independence, um, unless
Not
you're already
not
independent.
unless
Then
you're really successful, right?
yeah, it's hard to be really. I think so. Well, yeah, it shows. I think it just shows how hard it is. So you have to be really good, and we haven't gotten to that level yet in our picks. You have to, I think, you have to win about 53% of your bets to get to break even with
And
the
those are
juice.
on relatively neutral bets though too,
Yeah,
not like the money line picks because we were at we were each over 61% for the season on our money line picks, but I'm sure we only maybe made a tiny fraction on that. If we I don't have the numbers on that, but it wouldn't be, most of the money line picks that we're getting right are, almost sure things. So we're not making a lot of money on
yeah,
those.
yeah.
Uh, so, you know, we were at 52 and 53% correct picks in the whole season, but a lot of a third of those picks are money line picks. So that kind of we probably weren't actually close enough to
No,
53% to be close to making money. But yes, on the season I lost about half my money, and you were about 65% of your money was lost. So not a great season for us
no.
on the big
But
board when you're forced to bet on every game.
yeah, I think that's
Also,
another thing.
probably not a great strategy.
Yeah, I think I ended up being just over 500 on my locks of the week. And so if I couldn't even get my locks, that great, because the other games aren't going to turn out so well either. But although you did better, you've done better on your overall than on the locks some seasons, which is interesting, I think, because maybe you're better in the aggregate than you are in the ones you pick. I seem to be better
Yeah.
in the ones you pick than in the aggregate. So.
Yeah,
Um,
it was well under 500 on my picks. You were right at 500. You're 26, 27 and 1 in the season on the
yeah.
locks. I was only 23 and 31. So,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, but I was behind most of
yeah,
the season. I just kind of crept back in towards the end. So
yeah,
this was a tough betting season for both of us. But we'll see how we do next year. We'll come back and do the same thing and see if we can um, right the ship next year. But anything, yeah, any other comments you have on the Super Bowl game? It was, I guess, the halftime show was a little bit controversial with Bad Bunny.
was it
Uh,
really though? I mean,
it was just I don't know. Yeah. It was made into a controversy. I think.
that I think is the right characterization of it. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't really know Bad Bunny's music before he was on the. Uh,
Yeah.
but the halftime show is not for people like me. It's for people that don't like watching the football game and want to see a.
Yeah.
Especially recently,
'Cause
they've I think since
most of the time
Jay-Z.
I just want to see what happens in the game. I don't need an extra 20, 30 minutes of stuff to
Yeah,
break up the game, right? I just want
but
to watch the game.
it did make Puerto Rico seem pretty fun, uh,
Yeah.
entertaining.
I mean, it was an entertaining halftime show.
Yeah, I
It
didn't know what.
was. I mean, it
I
had a
didn't.
lot of energy. It was. I don't know any of those songs, but I wasn't really the target audience for
Yeah.
that music though either. Not being Latin or from Puerto
Mhm.
Rico, nor do I listen to that
Or
style of
or
music.
we're over 40 years old as well, so we've aged out of the target audience in terms of popular music, I think.
Probably. Well, Lady Gaga made an appearance, and
She did.
uh, what there were some other there were a couple people that made Ricky Martin, I think, was there for one song too. So like there are people that we would
Yeah.
have known from, you know,
Mhm.
before, I guess, that weren't
Yeah.
necessarily
And I guess Green Day was at the before the game. I know you don't care for Green Day, but many of your contemporaries probably are Green Day
true.
aficionados, and so
Yes. I've never
uh,
been a fan. Yes.
yeah. But yeah, it was a I don't know, entertaining, I guess, halftime show. The game itself wasn't the most entertaining, but it was it was a game, so it was on, and I watched it, so it passed the time. So
Yeah.
and I thought the better team won, so that
Yeah.
was good, and um yeah, it was just
How about the advertising, Mike? Did anything jump out at you as like particularly good or particularly gross or uh
there were some gross commercials with that, like the singing toilet one was kind of gross. But also one that was gross that I enjoyed was the Hellman's mayonnaise.
oh, that was awful.
It was gross, but it was dumb, and it was I hate mayonnaise. I can't st I don't want
Not a fan either.
but it had Andy Samberg as
Sandberg one.
Meal Diamond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty fun. I thought that was pretty funny.
It was funny. It was also gross though.
The way he was squirting the mayonnaise on people's sandwiches and
Well,
touching people's
yuck.
food. Ham, touching cheese, touching you.
Funny, but
Sweet
still
Sandwich
gross.
Time rather than Sweet Caroline song. Yeah. I didn't recognize it as Andy Samberg at first. It took me a while to realize it was him.
It sounded
Uh,
like him, but it didn't.
as his voice sounded,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that was the commercial I remember the most. The Dunkin' Donuts commercial was kind of funny from the Good Will Hunting '90s one.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of the other commercials, but
Yeah. Most of them were like the ones that I remember more of were the ones that were kind of gross than like ones that I was actually entertained by anyway. So they were like the manscaping one with like the talking like piles of hair. That was pretty
Oh yeah.
gross.
Yeah, and I was using the halftime, I mean not halftime, the commercial breaks to, go to the bathroom and stuff like that. So I wasn't always paying
Yeah.
attention to what was going on in those.
Yeah. There are a lot of like movie previews and stuff that are like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
yeah. We don't watch a whole lot of movies though, so
Yeah, I guess
those aren't really
there's
for
a new
me
Star
either.
Wars movie coming out. That's a Mandalorian and big
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Uh a new He-Man movie. I,
Yes, more nostalgia
yeah.
plays, I guess, right, for the movie industry. There was a new
Yeah.
Spielberg trailer that looked kind of interesting anyway
I
too.
didn't know if
So,
I saw that one. What was
um, the Disclosure, I think is what it was called, something like
okay.
that. I don't. I didn't really tell you exactly what it is, so it's a good like teaser type trailer rather than like the explainer trailers that like just tell you
Uh
exactly what you're gonna see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was all right, I guess, but I don't know. So overall, where did you rank this one then, or was it one of your favorite Super Bowls, one of your least favorite Super Bowls, or
it
somewhere in the
was
middle?
I guess it would be towards middle bottom, I would guess, because it wasn't a great game, and it
Yeah,
wasn't teams that I really was interested in seeing. I think the Patriots were, like I said, kind of a fraud, uh, and they probably weren't a Super Bowl quality team, but
yeah.
they did come out of the AFC, so somebody had to win the AFC. Um, I thought the Seahawks, they weren't I don't know if they're a great team or not, but they were a deserving winner today, or I mean on Sunday. So um,
They played in one of the toughest divisions in
yeah.
football, and they had to beat them again in the playoffs, both of their division rivals. So
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean they had a much more difficult route to get there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
When
yeah,
it's sort of
I
like
think like it was a weird Super Bowl because none of the really good teams in the AFC really made noise in the play like that you thought would be good. Like the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills were in there, but it was not. I think most people thought the AFC powers would have been more. They would have had more say in what the final outcome was, and it turned out that way. And even yeah, it was the Seattle made it. You thought, oh, maybe the Eagles are going to be back, or uh, some other teams, but yeah, Seattle was the team that played the best for most of the season, and I
yeah.
think it was a nice victory for Sam Darnold, although he didn't have a particularly great game personally. But he was
But
the
he
first.
but he didn't make a lot of mistakes though either. No turnovers, which
No,
which he was kind of prone for to have turnovers during the regular season, but the postseason he was
yeah,
pretty clean sheet.
yeah, yeah. He was. Yeah, he turned out to be a play pretty clean game. Um, yeah, so good for him. He was the first of the 2018 quarterback class to get a Super Bowl, beating Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson to the Super Bowl. Probably something that you wouldn't have guessed a couple of years ago, for sure. Uh,
Like crashing
given,
out of New York, I guess, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
having kind of
you wouldn't think
lackluster
he'd even get
period
another
in
chance, right?
Carolina. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, good for him though, right?
yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens with Drake May if he can rebound and become a good quarterback for more, or is he just a flash in the pan? We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but
There, there was one story like related to New England that we didn't really touch on. Uh, Maybe we should mention it now anyway. See what your thoughts are on this. About Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick both not being selected for the Hall of Fame. Were you surprised by those in their first
they needed a
ballots up?
very yeah, they needed a very high threshold to get. They needed like 80% of the ballots, and it was like
Yeah.
only on like and there were, and I think one of the star, I think the Kansas City Star, Valle Gregorian,
Yes.
basically said that everybody was deserving of it, but you know that Kraft and or at least Belichick are going to get in it at some point, so you might as well maybe bet on vote for the underdogs that might be their last chance, and
Right.
so that guy, Roger, I think Roger Craig was the only person on that five-man committee or five-man panel to actually get in. And I was a little surprised Roger Craig hadn't made the Hall of Fame already because he was a member of, so many Super Bowl teams and was a very dynamic pass catcher and runner out of the backfield for San Francisco
Right.
for much of the 80s. Um, so he was deserving, but yeah, you know that Belichick's going to make it at some point, and yeah,
Yeah.
maybe there should be a separate. I think it's weird that coaches and players are going up against each other on the vote too, and
Yeah.
owners. Like those are separate categories. Why don't you? It's hard to measure. I think them together. I would have. I don't know. Put it in a different different classes or something like that. But
Yeah. And I think they were different committees for the owners than or the executives and owners, I guess, right? From the coaches and
there
players.
historically there have been, but in this one
Yeah.
they grouped all five of them together. I think.
Yeah.
Actual vote.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a. It was a little strange.
Yeah. But you
But
expect them to
I
get
also kind of wonder, what does an owner really do that necessitates a Hall of Fame member? Like it's not like you can see like someone like with like Al Davis or Lamar Hunt, they kind of found the league and are the ones who build that league into a competitive entity. But like the Patriots, I guess, weren't a good team until I guess Kraft bought them really, but I don't know how much of that is him or how much is it just hiring Bill Belichick and getting Tom Brady, and of course they're going to
in.
win Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
If just a
Um,
pile of money is there to be the to be the owner, right? Rather than a figure, right? Does it matter? Yeah.
yeah,
That's the question, right? Does it would
Mhm.
would just a pile of money have done the same have the same result? And I guess it can be. I don't know. They may set the tone for like who gets hired in the hierarchy, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really assume that the ownership can make the players better, right? Right?
It's hard to say. Yeah, yeah,
Ownership, right? Ownership. Yeah.
yeah.
But you think like maybe coaching, like strategy wise, you can do that, but you don't expect the owners to be like involved in the
I guess you have
strategy.
owners. They hire the people that are supposed to be hired. Maybe they're
Yeah.
involved in draft picks and stuff like that. But like with Tom Brady, he was an afterthought at best. So the Patriots guys just got lucky with him, and um,
Right.
if they
Because he
had
was
known he
what,
was going to be
sixth
good, they
round
wouldn't
pick?
have sixth round. He wouldn't have picked him in the sixth round. They'd known he was going to be really good. So.
When he only got into like games because there was an injury, right? To start
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
And
So he
so like
was Drew Bledsoe was hurt.
Bledsoe, yeah.
Yeah,
Went down and then Brady stepped up and then he never looked back basically. So
yeah. As Drew Bledsoe was hurt, I would always think when he was hurt, there was an old ESPN commercial where they're trying to think of I think Chris Berman-esque nicknames for players, and one of them was Drew Bledsoe, and he was Drew bled so much he needed a transfusion. I think that was the Drew Bledsoe. Uh,
nice.
um, so yeah, I guess he was injured. I don't know if he needed a transfusion when he was injured, but um,
Probably not.
yeah, yeah, it was an okay game, an okay Super Bowl weekend, I guess. We had
No.
results. Yeah, anything? So what are we looking forward to next season? Do you think the Chiefs are going to rebound and make the playoffs again and be Super Bowl contenders, or are they going to have another kind of rebuilding uh, year next year?
Well, I think the biggest advantage they have is now they get to play a third place schedule instead of having to play a first place schedule every single year, no matter what they're doing. So that I mean
Mhm.
that should give them a little bit of an edge over what they've been facing
It gives them
recently.
a few easier games, at least you think it will. Um,
Yeah. You know, because they're going to need a little bit of extra kick early, especially because, you know, they're not knowing that Mahomes is going to be 100% before the season starts. If he'll even be ready to go week one.
yeah,
So you may, you know, hope that they can just sort of, you know, hang around the first couple of games until they hopefully get better as the season goes on and be ready for a playoff run when they get there by not having to play the toughest schedule possible.
yeah.
That's
Well,
that's that's like the diagram to how they get to the playoffs, right?
yeah, yeah. And I guess the idea is, well, they have a few more weeks off, there may be more time to recover. They
For the
didn't have
first
the
time
prep
in
schedule for the
ages, right?
first time in years. They have higher draft picks than they've had in a long time. So they have the ninth overall pick and then they have the ninth overall pick in each of the rounds. So it's they're picking at the top of the draft or at least top third of the draft rather than the bottom, one or two picks like they've been in the last several years. So it's yeah, maybe this will help and build a little bit of a rebound. Also bringing back Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. But you will have
Yeah.
to see we'll have to see how well Mahomes recovers. That's the big thing. Um,
Probably the biggest factor in what to expect from them is just how Mahomes recovers from this injury.
yeah, he has tore his ACL and his LCL. Um, s- uh, but maybe if you want to segue into the Winter Olympics,
You say there's
uh,
you've set it up pretty nicely there if you want to.
speaking of torn ACLs, we had Lindsay Vonn in her debut opening race to the downhill crash and injure herself. She had torn her ACL in a crash a couple of weeks earlier, but she was skiing without an ACL. Was that and then she crashed? Was that why? I guess looking back, it probably wasn't wise of her to try to compete in this year's Olympics, but. Um, wouldn't you think you need an ACL to ski well? Or like Mahomes said he wanted to go back in the game when he tore his
Yeah.
ACL. Maybe I don't know how much you need an ACL, I guess. Maybe it seems like you need I thought that you needed it a lot more just to like move around than
Yeah,
apparently.
I think you can like move around fine. I think the biggest thing, like especially with skiing, I assume, is that you have to stay like right on, keep your body weight like right on top of it, because like you really can't have like that side to side motion. Like you can, you know, you don't have that stability anymore. I think is what the main
Uh,
thing is. Like the knee is like will be like loose, left to right, in moving. But like if you stay on, if you keep your mass like physically on top of it, then I think you can probably get by without having it at all. And like there were some like training videos that she was sharing that she was doing things. That obviously she was doing fine without it and thought she could ski, but I think the crash didn't seem to be like it was related to her knee when it
that's what she,
happened, though.
that's what she said. Yeah.
Like the imagery of it was that it looked like she got like kind of tangled up in one of the
One of the
gates,
gates. Yeah.
and then that like knocked her off balance. But you know, it didn't look like her knee like gave out and then that started the crash. It looked like she got tangled up and then,
Yeah.
you know, probably did additional damage to her. I mean, like, 'cause she had like what a complex tibia
Tibia
fracture, I
fracture, she
guess, right?
said. They
So
said, yeah. Same leg that the ACL was damaged, though. So I don't know if that, again, it's 50-50 chance if you're going to break one of the, it's going to be the same as
if
the,
you're gonna,
so, you know,
right.
hard. I don't, yeah, I wonder, I wonder if maybe, again, maybe she would have been able to move away from the gate better if she had a ACL or something, or she wouldn't have
Or
been
just
able
it's
to
maybe it's
control
even
it.
just like a mental thing where it's like she knows she has to like she can't or doesn't want to make too big of a movement, and so she ended up hitting that gate harder than she would have if she did move a little bit freely, more freely, right?
Yeah.
So like it may have compounded it, or it could have just been like a mental issue too. That yeah, it's hard to say, but did you think it was going to go fine, or was this kind of what you were afraid of would happen when she announced that she was going to ski anyway?
Well, I didn't think she was going to win because she didn't have an ACL. I thought you probably need one of those to be good at skiing.
Win,
Win.
right?
Yeah, I guess in the downhill you don't have to like. It's not like the slalom where they go. They
Yeah.
go through every gate and they twist every time. So downhill's more of a straight,
Well, then
just going.
all the like the moguls and stuff too, right? In some of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
races. Yeah.
They just have to go fast. Yeah. So downhill they it's more the Ricky Bobby, I guess, mentality. Just go fast.
Yeah.
Um, but the American Breezy Johnson, she won. The other another American won the downhill, so that was good for the U.S.
Yeah.
Um, I think the USA medal count is currently USA is in fifth place in the or actually, let's see, in the overall medal count. I think they have seven medals, two golds, three silvers, and two bronze medals at this point. So Norway is winning the overall number of medals. They have 12 medals, six golds. So Norway, did you know that Norway was the number one overall uh, Winter Olympics medal um, holder?
Yeah, there's so many like yeah skiing events, and some of those things are like things that like the biathlon stuff like that. They're doing that stuff like from the time of their children. I think as a nation though, right?
Yeah, but you would say though that um,
Like a lot of those skiing events, like we just have like our rich people are the ones that are
yeah,
really
USA
like participating in those
yeah
things
USA is fourth in the number of medals right now,
right
seven.
now. Yes, yeah, one
Uh,
back of third place Japan.
yes, and then Italy with 11 and Norway with 12. Slightly ahead of Germany, Sweden, Switzerland. But yeah, you want in Norway though, you would say like, well, you would think you would think Sweden would have as many as Norway though, probably, or maybe I don't know. I guess just
Sweden is right
geography.
behind the U.S., so they're not.
Yeah.
It's not like they're like way down there. Yeah, or Finland,
Uh,
would they be up there too? They just not have quite the population that either of the other two countries have.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's
And it looks like, yeah, it looks like Norway's medals are spread out. It's not like it's like one person that's won
Mhm.
a bunch of what
Yeah,
was it?
the
It's like one
USA has
person has won two, one guy won two events.
yeah. According to Wikipedia, Norway's won 406 Winter Olympics medals through I guess through 2022. USA is second with 330. Um, you wonder you it seems like the country that would have won the most Winter Olympics medals is a country that's only hasn't been around nearly as long or was only participant in several of them, and that was the Soviet Union. In only they won 194 medals in only not in only nine Winter Olympics.
Well,
Uh, so that was, and then Norway's 406 medals were in 24 Winter Olympics. So in basically a third of the number of Winter Olympics, the Soviet Union won half the medals that Norway. So that makes more sense to me. The Soviets won so many. You might
yeah,
want to add, because if you add the Soviet Union and Russia together, that's also gets a little bit closer to Norway's total. Um,
yeah.
Russia hasn't competed. Uh,
Are
in,
they in this Olympics? I've not paid
no,
attention.
Russia. No, there's only a couple. There's only a few athletes that are Russian. They're competing as independent athletes. They're not competing as the Russian Olympic team because of doping scandals, because of Ukraine war and stuff like that. So.
Yeah,
Uh, but
multiple
yeah,
factors.
yeah, the USA has 330 total Winter Olympics medals, which is second place all time. Then Germany, Austria, Canada, Soviet Union is still number six of all time in terms of total medals. It's won more medals than Sweden and Finland have. Um, yeah, it's mostly European countries in the United States and Canada, plus some South Korea, China, Japan as well. But yes.
But yeah, so what are you looking for in the Winter Olympics? You just looking for medal counts, or you looking for certain events or big athlete name stories? What's your
Oh, I like
focus?
some of the weird niche sports. I kind of like curling. USA won a silver medal in double mixed doubles curling. I like the speed skating. I like a lot of the different events. They're kind of just fun to watch, I think.
Yeah,
Uh, Skiing, even figure skating, things like that. USA has been very good at those lately. So yeah, I just kind of like
the big
the
team
stuff.
events like ice hockey.
Ice hockey, yeah, would be interesting. Yeah, the USA women have been really good. So they destroyed Canada this today, 5-0. Canada, I
Oof.
think, was missing their best player, but still, the women seem like they're going to win. Usually, it's between the USA and Canada for the gold. In women's, I think it's going to be between USA and Canada for the gold in men's hockey too. So maybe if the men haven't won um, ice hockey gold since 1980, the Miracle on Ice. So that would be
Yeah,
a big victory if they could pull it out. Even without Russia there, that's another that helps the men's side. But um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just interested. Yeah, how about you have any particular sports that you're Winter Olympic sports that you like the best? Are you a biathlon fan because you like the shooting and the skiing together?
yeah.
The
That is a cool event. It seems like because
ski
it's a, I mean
jumping,
that's a long.
any of the more extreme sports, the snowboarding or snow, ski motocross type of things.
I'm not big on the X game things. I don't know. Do you like the X game stuff or
I'm not as
play
big
that?
on those either.
Yeah.
They're kind of
They're
fun to
kind of
watch.
fun to catch. Like if you're just like have the Olympics on and they happen to be on, like I'm not going to turn it away, but
Yeah.
I don't like tune in specifically to watch those kinds of events, I guess.
Yeah. I like the traditional ones. Yeah. But they're fun. I think the Winter Olympics are fun. They're not as interesting to me as the Summer Olympics, but they're still a fun
Yeah.
spectacle.
I still think all events should have a regular person that does the event just to show
Uh,
how. much more impressive the trained athletes are at the events. But some of the events, I think people would die
Uh,
trying. Like
well,
they're
certainly on the
if they didn't
ski
know
or
how to
the
do like the ski jumps and stuff, they'd be like, nope.
jump, yeah,
They'd start to go down and they'd bail, right? Like you wouldn't go.
luge or something like that, maybe they'd fly
Wouldn't you
out.
want to see a regular person like just ride the brake the whole way down and just and have it take like an hour to get to the bottom because they're too terrified to like run it at any kind of speed?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it would be dangerous. I don't know if I want. Uh, you'd have to really sign a lot of releases and like seems like an un yeah the luge like yeah or the skeleton
Yeah, the
the
skeleton's the head first one though, right?
head first luge yeah
Yeah. No. No thanks. I do not volunteer to be the regular person in that event, Mike.
or the two-man uh luge or
The team one, I feel like the four person
yeah but that
bobsled.
yeah the
Yeah.
two-person yeah the bobsled is a two or four
Yeah.
bobsled use the uh doubles in the luge which is a little strange
Yeah.
two guys sled
Right. The open sled too, right? It's not like the
yeah
bobsled where it's
yeah
like sort of enclosed, right?
yeah
Yeah.
yeah it's still fun. The Germans are very good at the luge. They're the best lugers. The
Would
biggest,
would you
the biggest
would
losers,
you
I should say.
would you do the luge, Mike, yourself?
Yeah, I could probably do that okay. At least I would sit up more. I wouldn't it just slide. I guess, yeah, I wouldn't go fast enough, so I'd slide out of the track, I think. So probably,
Right.
um, I'd bump the walls, I'm sure, a bunch and just be slow. But
Yeah.
uh, that's probably I don't know. I don't know the sport I would do best. I don't know what the sport I would do best in. Um, since I've sledded before, I guess. But you have to hold
Yeah.
on to and it's so sharp and I don't but you think you'd cut your hand off or something with the blades or whatever. So curling, I guess I would be the safest. I'd probably fall on the ice a lot, but I could at least slide a
Yeah.
stone down and play shuffleboard on
But you do
ice.
it like while drinking a beer
Yeah.
and just enjoying it though, right? And not
Yeah. Yeah. So curling would be the least dangerous of those sports. You might maybe get you would try to kind of like get your fingers smashed between the two stones or something like that. But
right.
yeah, I wouldn't want to, the figures, skating ones where the blades would slice you up. I couldn't. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not an ice skater, so
Especially the short track speed skating with when like basically there's always people that crash into each other and then
right.
the one person who avoids the crash usually wins the race.
Yeah. Yeah, speed
Well,
skating would be a not so pretty to watch the regular person compete in though, right?
yeah.
Especially with the suits and everything too. So
Oh,
that'd be
skin tight suits. Yeah.
very
They
little to hide there with that suit.
same thing with the luge. Everybody wears the luge and ski jumpers. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that it would be that like, it's sometimes it's hard to tell how amazing the athletes are because they're only competing against other amazing athletes, right?
Yeah.
If you put like a regular guy in there alongside, be like, oh, yes, this is how much more amazing these athletes
That's a little
are.
bit if they show like the random like African nation that has some guy in the luge or something like that who's qualified for his country but like is not that's about that's as close as you get to the average person. It's like when there's like some person from some country that doesn't have um
Yeah.
that sport like the Jamaican bobsled team or whatever that was or was it
There's
Eddie
usually some like
English ski jumper who wasn't very good.
yeah, there's usually some like South American like wealthy
Yeah,
person who's like bought their way onto a team to like represent them in one particular sport, but they're not very good at it,
yeah,
right?
that's right.
Like a tropical nation that. doesn't even have snow, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Doing like a cross country event. Yeah. So yeah, when you're watching the Olympics, do you like the stories about the athletes past, or do you just want to see the event, or what's
I'm more
your
interested in the event. I guess some of the puff pieces are somewhat interesting sometimes, but you know
yeah
what? I don't like many of those really. I just rather watch the sport, or just watch. I like the commentary because I think they always have some expert commenters that seem like they know a lot about it. Like it. It's interesting to me when they like they must they're like former bobsledders or former ski
yeah
jumpers, something like that, or
they've
like.
managed to find an expert for every event, right?
Yeah.
What they're
Yeah,
yeah
so I find that I like the commentary. Um, but yeah, the puff pieces on the different athletes, I'm not a huge fan of, but I can see why people like it because it gives a human interest side of things. But it's not my cup of tea. Or when they go around to the different let's see here, let's look at Milan's cafe culture or stuff like that. It's also like it's fine. I'd rather watch uh the events.
skipping
But
more sports, maybe some stuff you don't know about, so that you can learn something about the sport itself. Maybe.
yeah, I feel like I've learned some more about curling this go round. I've learned a little bit more about how they ski jumping. I can't quite figure out because it's part of its distance. It used to be just distance, but now it's like there's judging involved, like for how well they land,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So I'm not exactly sure. And skating is really complicated now too. The scoring system for figure skating.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and they show up, it used to just be it used to be kind of a phony judge sport where you just get sixes was your
Right.
best. Like gymnastics was like that too, you just give them a 10 or a 9.9 or whatever. But now it's got like a degree of difficulty score, artistic components, th- you know, things like that. So it's very much more of a complicated kind of thing, which I think is it makes it more fair and less likely to be rigged. But it's a
Right.
little harder to figure out what's going on too. Um, but yeah, I enjoy watching the Winter Olympics.
Do you like the team events more than the individual events, or judged events versus like competitive stuff more? Do you have like a hierarchy of what you prefer?
Well, usually I like the timed events more than the judged events because I feel like that's easier to quantify who goes the fastest.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the judging stuff is interesting too. It's just I like the variety. Um, Team versus like if the US is doing well, I like the team stuff. But if I like the individual competitions are fun too. So I don't know. There's not as many team events in the Winter Olympics, big team events. It seems like um,
Uh,
bobsled teams and things like that. But it's more. Um, there was a figure skating team event as well this year. The last
yeah.
few where they kind of like gymnastics team um, events, which was USA won the team event this year. Apparently, the USA ice dancers are really good. I watched them. I'm yeah, but
I've not watched any of that. I didn't know there was ice dancing. Is that a thing? That's a separate thing?
yeah, ice dancing it's not there's men's and women's singles, and there's pairs skating, but then there's also ice dancing. That's the other pairs event, which is different from the figure skating competition. It's more like yeah, dancing on ice rather than jumping and flipping and things like that.
Hmm. I didn't know that was
They've
that
had it,
was
they've
actually
had,
a
they've
thing.
had it for years. The ice
Yeah.
dance. Yeah.
Apparently, I've managed to avoid that. I guess so.
Yes, ice dance. Let's see, how long has it been in the Olympics? Part of the Winter Olympics from 1976, so
Hmm.
longer
So
than
I've
we've been alive.
managed to avoid it in every Winter Olympics in my lifetime, and one outside of my lifetime, I guess. Right?
You don't remember the great British ice dancers Torval and Dean from 1984 Sarajevo Olympics? They
Yeah.
re they made a reappearance in 1994 Lillehammer games.
Yeah.
No, no. Okay.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
were they were a British ice dancing team. They're the most famous ones, probably. They won the yeah. But anyway, the USA is pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we wrap up this? You want to? I don't know. There's not much more to talk about. We don't have Royals news really. Spring training's coming along. Um,
First games in 10 days now, I
10
think. So like
days, so
shortly
soon.
after our next episode.
The World Baseball Classic is gonna happen. We can talk a little bit about that. College basketball is heating up. Your favorite team, the KU Jayhawks, defeated number one undefeated Arizona Wildcats on Monday night in Allen Fieldhouse. Are you excited that the Kansas team seems to be rounding into top form just about now? I know you're a big Jayhawks fan, Dr. Scaff.
No, I'm not excited about any of that, Mike. Because the only thing that I'll be okay with it by is if they, you know, they look like they're going to be pretty good, and then they like hilariously flame out when it comes to the tournament times. That's the only thing I want to see in the season. I don't usually root against a lot of teams. That's one that I root against.
Yeah, I know you do. You're Iowa State's got a good team this year. They're a challenge. They're a team challenging. They're a top five team, aren't they? Right now, they're
They
21-2 right now. They're playing TCU at TCU. So far, they're up 37-35 in the second half. So
Yeah, close
uh,
game.
close game. They get a rematch on Valentine's Day against KU. Uh, at
They played terribly against KU the first time through, so that was they need to play better this time.
they'll play at Hilton Coliseum.
Yeah.
When was the last game you went to at Hilton Coliseum?
Uh, I don't think I've been to a game in Hilton since college. Probably, yeah, undergrad, I would guess.
Hmm.
Because I don't know that I went to any games during grad school even. So
Huh. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Just-
It wasn't as easy to come by tickets as a graduate student as an undergraduate. Like
hmm.
you basically just had to like sign up for tickets
You need to
as an
buy regular,
undergrad. But
probably to buy regular tickets, maybe as a grad student rather than.
yeah, yeah. So I don't remember. I've been to many of their games, but not in Hilton though. Like because I went to a lot of the Big 12 tournament games in Kansas City, and I've
Uh-huh.
seen Iowa State play. I think I saw them play in Lawrence once. I think I saw them play at K-State once even too. So
Ooh.
yeah, but I've not. I don't think I've been back to Hilton really since undergrad. Have you gone back to your Arkansas Razorbacks?
I've gone to a couple games. I went
Home
to a game maybe
games?
10 years ago with my dad. I went to some games after I graduated. Um,
Yeah,
but um, yeah, it's been a while since I've been to Bud Walton. It's probably been about 7 or 8 years at least since I've been down there.
yeah,
Maybe 10 years. No, I'm not sure. But I have, yeah, I've gone to some Arkansas games. But I have gone, yeah, I have seen it. I did go to one game in Allen Fieldhouse once. I saw KU against Nebraska
yeah.
uh, when I was in high school. But that was the last.
I went back up to Ames this year for a football game, but
Ooh.
I haven't been to a basketball game there for quite a long time.
I haven't been to a Razorback football game in a longer time than I've been to a basketball game. So it's,
So
but yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not very close to those geographically
right,
there. My last college football game was a Penn State game about 3 years ago now. So
another of your alma maters.
another one, yes,
Yes.
yeah. Well, anything else to add, Dr. Scaff, or should we wrap up this week's episode of the Power Hour?
this week, this season's
The seasons,
episodes.
episode 52 of season
Mhm.
5.
Season 5 finale right
All right,
now.
so we've had 250 or so episodes. Is that
Well, the first
about?
couple years we didn't go all of the
See,
weeks, I guess,
yeah,
right? The
that's
last
true.
three seasons we've done 51 as our shortest season. We missed 1 week 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, so we've had a
Yeah,
lot of
so
episodes now. Yeah.
we had yeah,
Um,
155 episodes now, I guess, in three
last 3
years.
Yeah, it's been a lot. We've been appointment television, I'm sure, for many of you.
Yes.
Appointment podcast listening, appointment no, probably not for many of you, but we hope that
Rogues of Warning Track Power Hour fans.
yeah, we hope there are a few Power Hour fans around out there, but we don't do it just for the fans. We do it for ourselves, our own interest, and we've had a good time doing that. So we'll keep doing it next year when we start season 6, episode 1 next week, beginning our post Super Bowl uh, revving up to college basketball, tournament. We'll talk more Winter Olympics. We'll talk maybe a little more baseball if we have time. So we have a few different topics we could reach out to. We might also branch out into our patented pop culture discussions, uh, talk about TV, talk about movies, talk about whatever
Yeah.
strikes our interest.
See what pops up.
See what pops up. Uh,
We don't know.
so
It might be a really slow week. We don't know. We don't know. We don't
might
know
only
till we
might only be a 3 minute episode. We'll see what we'll see.
yeah, could be.
Could be. You never
We'll find
know
out.
what's going to happen in the Power Hour. So, uh, as always, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Warning Trek Power Hour. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, available on YouTube, or our podcast, available on many different podcast delivery platforms, including the one you're likely to be using right now if you're listening to us on a podcast. You know how to find us, but we're available on many different other podcast platforms as well. So you should find your favorite one. We're probably on there. Um, and we have more exciting things to talk about next week. We might even find some things to bet on in the next few weeks. We'll see what happens there. But as I said, we'll talk about college basketball some. We'll talk about the Olympics some. We'll talk about baseball some. We'll talk about football off season, of course, most likely. And so we'll see. We'll find some different topics to delve into over the next few weeks. Uh, NBA playoffs are going to heat up in the next month or two. Major League Baseball, of course, starting its regular season. NHL playoffs going to start heating up as well. So we have all those great things to discuss here at the Power Hour. Even though I think we're more of a football and baseball, I think, centered show.
Yeah.
We do branch out from time to time. So um,
Maybe
we'll
we'll get
have
into the
all.
UFL. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll do UFL deep dive into the UFL. When does UFL start?
Are they doing another season or they give up on that? That's how little I actually know about it.
March 27th,
Oh,
2020.
yeah, they put a bigger gap between the NFL and UFL season, which I always thought was surprising. Like, because the XFL they wanted to start it like right after Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't like the next week. Don't want
So,
anybody miss
yeah.
football. Just give them football right away.
Uh,
No.
but
Oh well.
oh well. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the UFL. Uh, yeah, so we'll have all that to look forward to. Yeah, the UFL starts March 27th, um, with 10 teams. Uh,
Oh,
the Birmingham Stallions, Columbus Aviators, uh, Dallas Renegades, DC Defenders, Houston Gamblers, Louisville Kings, Orlando Storm, and the most local to us, the St. Louis Battlehawks. So he's most local to you, the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah. You're probably what, close to DC then, I guess?
Yeah, I guess I'm closest to the DC Defenders. And Columbus Aviators aren't that far
I guess,
either.
yeah, it just depends on which Columbus it is.
Columbus, Ohio, not Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah,
But
I don't know
we
for
have
sure
all
that's
that to
which
look
Columbus.
forward to next week, and maybe we'll even decide who we can place some bets on the UFL if you're really a real degenerate type of
Yeah.
gambler. You really,
You think you're more likely to bet on a UFL game or a high school sport, Mike?
I guess the UFL game because I could find odds for the high school sports don't have odds listed on FanDuel or things
FanDuel,
like
like
that.
public. I think that there are sites that you can bet on stuff that are outside of what's on FanDuel, but I don't
I
know
don't
that you
think
want to get into that.
high school betting. I don't know if you. I think that's probably um, yeah. That
I
seems
think there are like sites that you can bet on almost anything, but I don't know why you would want to do that, honestly.
yeah. I don't know what high school sports would have a spread or what how that would work.
I don't know. I'm not
Like
sure.
that seems like you'd have to like go into the criminal underworld to bet on those games. So that's more. So I'd be more likely to bet on the UFL than high school athletics. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm more likely to do.
No,
But we
I
are
don't know.
more
I'd be
likely.
very unlikely to bet on a UFO game, so it almost might make it close to even odds there between those two.
Well, I would bet that we're going to be back next week with our next season
Safe.
action, season 6, episode 1. So be there next week for us, and we'll be happy to have you back as loyal patrons and viewers and listeners. Until next week, we are the Warning Track Power Hour, and we wish you a very good day.